Realizing inner peace is not a journey. Inner peace is your natural state. If you've been trying to move into state of presence, living in the present moment, but you are still experiencing worrying thoughts, overthinking, when you're making decisions, and reactive emotions, reacting to situations, to people, arguing, or getting triggered by family members, or maybe by other people, or by certain situations during the day, this video is for you. You may be making the same mistakes I was making for 10 years, when all I wanted was a quiet mind. All I wanted was a peace. That's what I wanted. I wanted a peace. I wanted to have a peaceful mind, and I didn't want to experience the emotions I was experiencing every single day. Worry. I was born warrior. Overthinking, anger. And for 10 years, I tried every single method. I tried meditation, and it didn't work. And I did record a video about my journey and what I did to change it, to shift into living in inner peace. And in this video, I'm going to explain and show you what it is that is reinforcing the mind, that is actually preventing you to live in the state of inner peace permanently. Inner peace is not some kind of extraordinary state that is just special for some people. No, I've worked with coaches and business owners who were on an inner peace journey, sometimes for 5 years, sometimes for 15 years. And when they stopped reinforcing the mind quieted down, and their natural state arose as a result. For some, it took 4 months. For some, it took 2 months. For some, it took 6 months. But you don't need to be on an inner peace journey for 15 years, for 20 years, or forever. So why is it that it feels so impossible to achieve inner peace? Well, first thing to understand is it's not about effort. It's not about how much you do. It's about allowing or being in a state where the mind quiets on its own. If you haven't seen a huge shift in your state, despite all the effort and work you've been doing, you've been doing the wrong work. Actually, let me rephrase it. There is no work to be done. There is a state to be in. You need to understand that there are two states. You are either in your natural state, a state of peace, a state of presence, a state of awareness. That is, by the way, a state you were born in and you lived in for the few months, first months of your life before the conditioned mind was created. And then there is the conditioned mind, there is the ego, there is the personality, there is the identity. It's the same, just different words, different labels. And when you are living in the identity, in the ego, reinforcing the ego, reinforcing the mind, the inner peace is not achievable. Because mind or ego is about doing and is about achieving. It's about effort. So if you have been doing a lot of inner work, if you've been doing a lot of healing, and you feel like there is these temporary results you achieve, but then you're back to reacting, back to overthinking, back to worrying, this is exactly what is happening. The ego gives you a kind of confirmation that your work, your effort is working, but it's a false confirmation because effort is mind, and with the mind creates more mind. So effort creates more mind. I do explain and I do go in more depth about these two different states and how the mind or ego reinforces itself in another video. It's a free training I recorded, and I will put the link in the under this video so you can watch it if you're interested. So we said no effort. So then the question is, how can we quiet the mind? Well, you cannot quiet the mind. The only way how the mind can get quiet is if the person that wants to quiet the mind and the person who wants to achieve or realize inner peace dissolves. Why is that? Because the mind is the person. You are not the person. You've been, let's say, operating. You've been functioning in a false state of identity. And as long as you live and function as a person who believes that he or she thinks and he or she has body and he or she controls what is happening, that identity reinforces itself. And there is no peace. Mind doesn't know peace. When the mind quiets down, when the identity dissolves, peace arises. Peace is your natural state. This is why there is no journey. Journey means that you go from somewhere to somewhere, from one point to another point. Journey means that there is a time involved. See how it's the mind? Because mind functions and reinforces itself and reinforces your illusion of separation with the time-space perception. So as long as there is a journey, or as long as there is a belief that it's a journey to inner peace, you will be on the journey and you will never arrive. This is what the poet Rumi meant by saying, you wander from room to room, looking for a diamond necklace, while you have been wearing it on your neck all the time. And I might have butchered the saying, but that is the idea. Inner peace is your natural state, and it arises naturally and by no effort. There is no effort. It's a natural mechanism of consciousness. When the mind quiets down, you cannot get the mind quiet. The mind can only quiet on its own. Again, how? And the mechanism can be found in my free training in the video. I will link below. So no effort. So now, what do you do if you are not supposed to do any effort? You shift into being. You shift from doing into being. Doing is effort. When you're healing yourself, when you do inner work, when you meditate to connect with your higher self, when you clear your chakras. That's how the mind, in this case, spiritual ego, reinforces itself. And now you're deeper and deeper in the rabbit hole, spiritual rabbit hole of healing and inner work. And you won't find inner peace there. And you won't find inner peace by looking for it inside of yourself. By connecting to your higher self. By trying to hear the words of wisdom from your higher self, from God, from universe. You are the one you are looking for. But not the identity. The identity needs to dissolve. And the identity dissolves as the mind dissolves. because the identity or ego is the same. I'm just using different words, different labels. So you need just be aware. Just be in the state of awareness. Awareness is the direct path, direct way. Because again, there is no path. Direct way to inner peace, to stillness, to full presence. Don't try to be present. Don't try to calm your emotions. Don't try to stop your thoughts. That's impossible. That's ego trap. That's the mind trap. Trying is effort. Doing is effort. Observe what is happening around you in each moment. Observe what arises in your experience each moment. Become aware of what arises in your experience each moment. Awareness Awareness is like a light that transcends the darkness, that transcends the mind. Because what is darkness? What is darkness? If you have a darkness in the room, or if you have darkness outside, it's simply an absence of the light. The moment you turn on the switch, there is no darkness. You don't need to do anything with the darkness. You don't need to do any effort. You don't need to pray so it goes away. You don't need to put it into a boxes and move away. You don't need to shift it. You simply turn on the light switch. That is how awareness works. You go from the mind, which is absence of awareness or unawareness. When you're unaware, being you are in the mind, in the ego, in the doing, in the achieving, you're on the path to inner peace. To being aware. If you're aware, the mind cannot reinforce itself. Because when you are aware, when you are in the state of awareness, You are aware of the mind. You are not the mind. You're aware of the ego. You are not the ego. You're aware of the belief systems. You are not functioning on belief systems. You're aware of the false identity, but you are not the false identity. You are awareness itself. And that is the state you were born in. So there is nowhere to go. There is no path to inner peace. If anything, you just need to return to your original natural state. Because this mind state, the person who thinks, overthinks, worries, reacts with anger, stresses, judges, that person is just a mental concept. A mental concept you've been identified with for so many years. It's not real. Every night when you're in a deep sleep, you are in your true state. Why does the deep sleep feel so good? Because there are no thoughts, there are no emotions, there are no worries, there is nothing to do, nowhere to go. There is just being. And every morning, when you wake up, the identity wakes up. The identity gets created again and again and again every morning. And no matter how much you meditate or inner work you do, or use any other methods to be still throughout your day, be still, be present, be calm during your daily life, it feels impossible. And this is why the identity cannot be still. The mind cannot be still. The mind needs to be observed by you. And then it will dissolve. So practice being aware. You can do it any moment, anytime. You don't need special moments for it. You don't need special place to meditate. I actually recorded a video about meditation and why years of meditations or years of meditating haven't brought you the stillness and the presence you want to be in your daily life. So you can check out that video if you want. I can link it below. But just be where you are. It doesn't require any effort. Be where you are as you are. In each moment, from moment to moment, observe what arises in your experience. Observe your thoughts. Observe the emotions. Observe any actions. Observe sounds. That is how you take fuel from the mind. And then the mind dissolves. And inner peace arises naturally.